you can hear the wind pass as he's shooting at this guy, which is a great effect. And you can see the trail also behind the bullets, which makes the bullet look a lot better. And then you can also see the weapon kick every time he shoots. So yeah, it looks pretty good to me. Hello everybody, Yellow Mustang here again with another Roblox scripting video. Today we are taking a look again at our Marine AI guy here, and we're going to be addressing some of the issues that we had with him as a model, things that I don't like looking back now. I made this guy, I think, 2 months ago now, and I've learned a lot about NPCs and code layout since then, and I think I've gotten better. And looking back at this guy, I've noticed the code and my logic is garbage. So let's go ahead and run this guy and kind of remind you guys what this guy did. So as you can see, all it is him. He turns and faces the people with the gun, and then I have an animation play to raise his arms, which looks okay, I guess. I mean, it looks better than a lot of Roblox soldier NPCs, but it's not good enough for me anymore. One of the things I hate the most about this guy is that the arms don't move up or down. So if you have him on a ledge like this, he can't simply shoot down at the figure there. He has to go down and get on the exact same level as the character before he even starts shooting. And you can see he like awkwardly backs up, which is awful as well. I don't like that. So we are going to remake this guy or upgrade the code, and we're going to eliminate animations. We're going to have this guy aim up or down and every direction, and it's going to work a lot better than this animation thing. And then that way people don't have to export animations in order to get this guy to work. Another thing I don't like about this guy is there's no ally list. You can't make anybody his friend. The only friends that he has is people that are named what he is named, which is Marine. So we're going to be implementing a ally list so we can have different NPCs allied with him, essentially. I don't like that he doesn't have any secondary attacks. I was lazy and did not add like a knife attack or anything for him. So I just had him back up when the enemies get too close. We're going to be adding a knife attack, and we're going to be adding a grenade attack for when there's like multiple enemies to attack. So that'll be good. I don't like the model of the M16 anymore. I think it is too many parts and it lags the game. So I'm going to be switching this weapon out for a mesh M4 instead of this M4 that is made of multiple parts. The mesh will be better on people's performance. It won't lag your server as much when we are aiming the rifle and adjusting the position like 1,000,000 times per second or whatever. And then just the layout of the code is just awful. I don't know if I mentioned that, but once we jump into the scripting here, I'm going to edit everything, and you guys are going to see how I just destroy everything that I had previously created. So the only thing we need out of this guy is the AI script, and then let's go ahead and pull. Okay, so for our template model here, Marine, a lot of what you will see is the same: animate, sounds, basic stuff like that. We got the clothing. I've ungrouped the flick and the helmet all to be inside of the character, so when bullets hit him, it will actually damage him, so we don't have any issues with that. Let's see here. I have a grenade now welded to his back, which has grenade sounds in there, boom, pin, pull sound, all that good stuff. So we'll be coding that in a later episode. We have a new improved mesh M4 that I've found that is better than using a bunch of parts. It will lag the game less when we're aiming it around and such. So I got some sounds inside of that. I got an M4 weld there, just welding it to the torso for now. So now the Marine will carry the weapon on its back instead of just having it in front of him the entire time, which will work out better in my opinion. We also have a knife here, full with sounds, and then, the standard knife weld as usual. And then some normal stuff. Let's see, head. Inside the head, I have like a hurt noise, so when he takes damage, we'll have this hurt sound play. Barrel is I added a part at the tip of the gun where the bullets will spawn from, essentially. I would normally use like an attachment or something for this, but I just found that a part works better, and I just have this barrel part welded to the M4. So that worked for me pretty well. We got a stab animation for the knife and then a throw animation for the grenade in there. In the torso, we got the grenade weld for when we put it to his hand. This is nothing, don't worry about that. Left arm weld for when we get rid of the motor, which is just, it's going to hold his arm in place. Same thing with the right arm. I feel like I'm missing stuff. What else am I missing here? Torso, right leg, middle. I'm missing the aimer. Where's the aimer at? So the biggest new thing that this guy uses now is what I call an aimer piece, essentially, which is just a part facing forward inside of his chest. It's an invisible part that is facing forward. This is the top, so that way we can rotate this part to face towards our targets, and we'll have his arms welded to this part, so he'll aim the gun and his arms properly based off of where this part is looking. It really simplifies the whole problem of having the arms face a certain direction. This just is like a good cheat for that, essentially. Other scripters might roast me for doing it this way, but this is the only way I know how. But it works pretty well, so you'll see. I think that pretty much covers everything. I paste the template into Marine here, and here we go. This is going to be our starting point. A little bit different than other episodes. Now we have a lot of the code already done for us. So hopefully this won't take as long, but it probably will be even longer. I'm going to break this up into multiple parts. In this episode, we're just going to be adjusting the arms, essentially, so the video isn't 4 million hours long like it normally is. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll start just adjusting this code here. We need to get his left and right arms. Oh, I'm typing what I'm saying, but yeah, the left and right arm. We need, let's see, we need to come in here. We need to do my head. Go script.parent, wait for child head. So we're gonna do all the local variables. I will probably speed this up just so you guys don't have to watch me adjust this. So go ahead and speed this part up. Okay, so the variables should be good now. We got all of his main body parts. We got all of the new M4 variables that we're going to be needing to switch around. We got all the weapon sounds. We got a hurt sound for when he gets hit, all that good stuff. Reloading for when he is reloading the weapon. Weapon aim for when he's aiming the weapon at a target. Weapon cool for the cooldown in between shots. M4 equipped is when he has the weapon out or not. Full mag is the maximum ammo, like after he reloads, is 30, so he'll have 30 bullets in his weapon. Mag is going to decrease as he shoots, so we can keep track of that. So if he reaches 0, he reloads. We just have mag set to full mag, so it is set to 30. So he has a full magazine to start off with. Here is the allies list here that I was talking about. We have our own name, which is Marine in there, and then we also have civilians, so we won't kill civilians. Local potential targets is now outside of find target than before, so we'll just keep it out here now. It'll work better if it's out here, essentially. Local clone for responding purposes, and then that should be pretty much good for that. Let's see, I gotta figure out a good way to do this. So the first function we're gonna add to this is function check dist part 1 part 2. This is going to allow us to easily find the distance between two parts without having to type this equation every single time. So part 1 position, part 2 position, dot magnitude. Okay, good. That's all there is to that function. And then check site, I think we need to adjust a little bit. So we're going to up this 40 to 100 so you can shoot targets from like 100 studs away instead of 40. You can shoot pretty far with an M4, so we will have it like that. Part position looks good. If part is, and then okay, so we had this in here because he couldn't shoot targets that we were not on the same level as him because he couldn't aim up or down. We're gonna make it so he can aim up or down, so we're gonna remove that. Bring in that return true, and that should be good. Okay. So check site should be good. Find target. We're going to up this distance to 200. Target equals nil. We'll remove the local out of potential targets because we declared the variable up above already. And most of this find target thing is actually pretty good. I don't have an issue with it. Just we need to add the allies thing to it. I think it's smart the way I did this with the tables keeping track of everything, so I didn't really adjust it too much. So we need to do for IX and I pairs, allies do, but we need to remove the I up here. We can just switch this to an underscore as a placeholder there because we're not going to be using it. So for IV or IX and pairs do, if X equals to v.name, then break. So if we are checking the allies list and we find the allies name is v.name, then we'll go ahead and break out of this because it is not a valid target. And then we'll do else if I is equal to the number of allies, then it's the last iteration of the allies. Then if we haven't found the name in the allies table, then we can go ahead and set that guy to be the target. So that should be good there, I believe. Yeah, it looks fine to me. Okay, so continuing on here, we're gonna make some changes to path to location target. I've since learned how to make the pathfinding work way better than before. So let's see. So after here, we need to do delay 0.5 function. If my human walk to point y is greater than more torso position y, then my human jump equals true. Okay, so all this is doing is double checking to see if we need to jump or not. Sometimes the pathfinding service tells the NPC to jump too fast and it will miss a jump or something and get stuck. This will just double check and if you get stuck or not. So that's a quick fix for that issue that it has. I put wait 2 in here because I wanted this to time out after 2 seconds, but it turns out that is not a thing. Move to finish always times out after like 7 seconds, I believe. But we can do this. So we'll do local move success equals my human.move to finished. Wait. So this will still pause the script, but it will return if it made it to the point successfully or not. So if it didn't make it to the point successfully or not, then we need to just go ahead and break out of the path because obviously it's obviously stuck. If it didn't make it to the point that it's walking to, then there's no point in continuing. So we'll just break out of that path and then hopefully just generate a new one would be good. And then in here we can also do check site target, and we can go ahead and remove all this junk. We don't want attack to be inside of path to location because it's unorganized. We're going to have a main function that has everything, all the logic sorted out for us, so we're not just diving from function to function and it's hard to keep track of. So we'll go ahead and separate that into its own function inside of main. So that will be good. Let's go ahead and take a look inside of walk random. Actually, let me double check this. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so inside of walk random, I believe there's some more stuff we need to do. It's going to be essentially exactly what we did before. Just double check the jump or not. So weight 0.5 function if my human walk to point y is greater than my torso position y. So if the walk to point is above our torso, then my human jump equals true. Okay, so that'll double check the jumping so we don't get stuck ever. This 2 inside of wait does not do anything. We cannot change that timeout, unfortunately. I wish Roblox would change that, but they have not. I've done my research and it is impossible. So again, we'll get the move success. If not move success, then break out of this. Also in here, in the walk random, we need to check for enemies as we're walking. So every 5th waypoint, so yeah, we need to add I in here. So get rid of this underscore, place I in there so we can keep track of what index we're on. So every 5th waypoint, we're going to check to see if we can find any targets. So we're going to do if find target, then continue, then break. Okay, so it's basically if index is divisible by 5 equals 0. So like if it is divisible by 5, so it'll be every 5th waypoint essentially. And then because we don't want to be running find target every single time because it loops through the workspace looking for humanoids and torsos and all that, and that creates a lot of lag. So we just have it every 5th waypoint so we don't stress the server as much, and that way we don't completely ignore potential targets as well. So it's a good compromise on that. And then find target will return a torso or not. So if it returns nil, then this won't break the script. If it returns anything else other than nil, then it will break it. So let's continue on here. We don't need this print in here anymore, but if the path fails, we will just wait 2 seconds because, I don't know, that was fine with me. So let's see here. So under this, we're going to go ahead and start working on drawing the M4, so bringing it out essentially. So we want to do draw M4 if M4 equipped is equal to false, then continue. Now M4 is equipped, so we will flip the boolean there, and that'll be good. Now we'll play the equip sound when it comes out, so it sounds all nice and stuff. So we'll start out with the right arm setup here. So we want to disconnect the shoulder first, so right shoulder dot part 1 equals nil. Good. And then right arm dot C frame equals aimer. So essentially we need to disconnect the shoulder, and then after we disconnect the shoulder we can move the part freely because it's not connected to anything. So after we disconnect the shoulder, then we're going to teleport the arm into the aiming position essentially, which is going to be in front of the soldier and aiming towards the center like he's holding the weapon. So I calculated the C frame off camera as usual. That's how I have these numbers all good to go. So cframe.angles and then math.rad 80, math.rad 0, math.rad -10. Okay, good. And then our arm weld dot part 1 equals right arm. So basically we're switching from the arm being held in place by a motor to the arm being held in place by a weld. So that way when we that way the arm is not affected by the walking animation or anything. It holds the arm still so we can properly aim the gun without, you know, without flying everywhere because the arm is moving, because it thinks we're walking but we're not. Okay, so now we'll set up the left arm here. Okay, so the left arm is set up now, so now we will go ahead and do the M4 setup, which is essentially the same thing, really. But the M4 is not connected to a motor, so we are just adjusting the weld because starting off we just have the M4 just welded to the back. So we are just essentially disconnecting the weld and then bringing the M4 forward. And then, you know, of course, since I'm recording a video now, my phone goes off like crazy, even though it's been silent for like, you know, the last 2 hours. But God forbid I try and record a video, right? So -90 and then 0, 0. Okay, cool. And then we will reset the weld again to aimer. And aimer will be moving around, so that way the M4 will stay in position and look pretty good. So we got the draw M4 completed. Now we can do the yield M4. So putting it away, we'll just have these functions next to each other so it looks nice and clean. So if weapon aimed equals to true, then weapon aimed equals false. Neck.co equals neck.co times cframe.angles. 0 math.rad 15 0. Okay, so yield M4. So later on in the script here, we're going to have the character tilt its head like it's looking down the sights of the weapon. This is going to essentially do the opposite of that. It's putting it back into the straight position because we are putting the M4 away. So obviously we're not looking down the sights of the weapon anymore. So we will reset the neck to its original position. So if M4 equals equipped true, then continue. So M4 equipped is false. And then we will play the equipped sound. And then we are going to do that same thing with the arms, but backwards now. So right arm weld.part1 equals nil. Let's spell that correctly. Okay, so we are undoing the weld and we are reestablishing the shoulder motor again. And the cool thing about motors is that the arm will just snap back into position essentially, so we don't have to worry about the C-frame. So it's pretty decent that we don't have to do that. So now the left arm. Okay, and now for the M4 setup. So M4, so we're undoing the weld as usual. And then we are basically just teleporting the C-frame back onto, or sorry, teleporting the M4 back onto our back using C-frame. So C-frame.new 0.6. Again, don't worry about the C-frame. I've done it all off camera, so you guys don't have to sit here and watch me mess around with C-frame, because then it would be a 3-hour video if it actually did like the full design of the character. Maybe we'll do that in the future or something, but definitely not today. Okay, and since the M4 is not using a motor, we have to set the C-frame manually. And then we are changing part 0 from the aimer to the torso, so that way it stays on our back and looks good. It'll be cleanly attached to our back like it's actually supposed to. The next function we're going to add in here is the aim function. Well, actually, we'll hold off on the aim function. Let's go ahead and add one more function that I forgot exists. We'll add the function reset head. So this will return our head back to normal. And we are going to change that line up above so that it uses this function instead of doing it itself. Okay, so 0 math.rad 15 0. Okay, cool. So let's see, where was that? This. So yield M4, and then we'll just play the reset head. Okay, good. Cool, cool, cool. All right, so continuing on here, we get to this thing called attack. And this function is garbage. So what we're going to do is highlight the entire attack function and goodbye attack function. There you go. Let's see. So we got the shoot function, which we need to do a bunch of stuff to. But I want to test and just make sure that everything is working. So let's go ahead and actually, we don't have to do that. Let's go ahead and go into the while loop. And we are just going to wait 1, and we are going to equip. Oh, what was my function called? Oh no, it's draw M4. Okay, and then we're going to wait 1, and then we're going to yield M4. All right, and we'll just go verify that that works. Okay, as you can see, everything snaps into position just like we wanted it to. So you can hear the equip sound playing each time. So in, out, in, out, in, out. Great, you can see it attaches to his back, and then it leaves his back, and all of that good stuff. So it looks good so far.
Oh fuck, I can't believe you've done this. Oh fuck, I can't believe you've done this. Oh fuck, I can't believe you've done this. Oh fuck.